first man you must conquer is yourself, not your enemies, not your competition, not the world around you, you. Because here is the brutal truth that most men spend their entire lives running from. You are your own greatest threat. Every time you explode in anger, you hand your enemy a weapon. Every time you panic under pressure, you expose a crack in your armor. Every time you let your emotions drive your decisions, you surrender your power to the moment. Machiavelli understood this with cold precision. He knew that the man who cannot govern himself will never govern anything else. The mentally strong do not feel less, they feel everything, but they choose what to show and when to show it. That is not coldness, that is strategy, that is discipline weaponized. While the weak man bleeds openly, the powerful man bleeds in private and smiles in public. He processes, he calculates, he responds, never reacts. Your emotions are not your identity, they are information. Learn to read them without being ruled by them. That is where real power begins. That is the first iron law. The second iron law. Silence is your most powerful weapon. There is a reason the most dangerous men in history were also the most calculated in their speech. They understood something that the average man will never grasp. Every word you speak is a card you reveal. Every opinion you volunteer is a weakness you expose. Every time you feel the urge to explain yourself, to defend yourself, to prove yourself to people who were never going to believe you anyway, you are bleeding power. Drop by drop, word by word, until there is nothing left but a man who talks too much and commands too little. Machiavelli was unmistakably clear. He who speaks less controls more. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is pressure. Silence is a weapon so sharp that most men don't even realize they've been cut until it's already over. When you stop over-explaining, something shifts. People start to wonder. They start to fill in the gaps with their own imagination. And their imagination will always make you more formidable than your words ever could. You become unpredictable. And unpredictability is one of the most powerful psychological forces on earth. The weak man speaks to be accepted. The powerful man speaks to create impact. There is a vast and unbridgeable distance between the two. Learn to sit in uncomfortable silence without flinching. Learn to let accusations hang in the air without rushing to answer them. Learn to let your results speak so loudly that your words become unnecessary. Because the man who constantly justifies himself has already lost. He is reacting, he is defending, he has given someone else the power to put him on trial and walked willingly into the courtroom. From this moment forward, treat your words like ammunition, scarce, deliberate, devastating when used. And remember, silence in the face of chaos is not weakness, it is supreme control. It is the calm at the center of the storm that everyone else fears to enter. Right now, in the comments, I want you to write, "I speak with purpose" or "not at all." Let that be your declaration. Let that be your standard. The third iron law. Never reveal your next move. The world is a chessboard, and the moment you announce your next move, you have already lost the game. This is not paranoia. This is not secrecy for the sake of secrecy. This is the cold, surgical understanding that information is currency. And most men give it away for free. They announce their plans on social media before the work is done. They share their ambitions with people who secretly want to see them fail. They celebrate too early, reveal too much, and then wonder why their dreams keep collapsing before they ever reach the finish line. It is not bad luck, it is bad strategy. Machiavelli taught that the lion must also be the fox. Strength alone is never enough. You must combine raw power with cunning intelligence. You must learn to move in silence, build in darkness, and only reveal yourself when the outcome is already secured. The most powerful moves in history were never announced. They were executed, quietly, precisely, without warning, because warning your opponent is not confidence. It is arrogance dressed up as confidence. And arrogance has destroyed more powerful men than any enemy ever could. There is a profound psychological principle at work here. When you share an unfinished goal, your brain receives a premature sense of completion. The praise, the validation, the excitement of others. It tricks your mind into feeling like the work is already done. And so you slow down, you lose hunger, you lose edge. The vision dissolves before it ever becomes reality. The disciplined man knows this trap. He keeps his mouth shut and his eyes forward. He lets his silence build anticipation. He lets his absence create mystery. He moves like a shadow, present everywhere, visible nowhere. Your vision is sacred. It is not meant for public consumption until it is complete. Protect it like a fortress. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The man who masters secrecy masters timing, and the man who masters timing masters outcomes. Stop announcing, start executing. The world will notice when you arrive, not when you planned to. The fourth iron law: control your environment or it will control you. Listen carefully, because this law is one that most men never discover until it is far too late. You are not just a product of your decisions. You are a product of your environment, the people around you, the conversations you tolerate, the energy you allow into your space, the content you consume, the voices you give access to your mind. Every single element of your surroundings is either sharpening you or softening you, strengthening you or slowly, invisibly destroying you. And the terrifying part, most men never even feel it happening. They wake up one day confused, depleted, and directionless, never once considering that the environment they accepted as normal was the very thing that was quietly dismantling them from the inside out. Machiavelli understood that a prince who surrounds himself with flatterers, with weak counsel, with men of poor character, will inevitably become a reflection of those men. You cannot rise above your environment through willpower alone. Willpower is finite. It depletes. It wears down under constant pressure. But a carefully constructed environment, one built with intention, with discipline, with ruthless selectivity, that becomes your silent engine. It works for you even when your willpower is exhausted, even when your motivation is gone, even when the world is pushing against you with everything it has. This means you must become brutally selective, not arrogant, not cold for the sake of coldness, but surgically precise about who and what you allow into your inner world. Every person in your life is either an investment or a liability. Every conversation is either building your mind or eroding it. Every environment you place yourself in is either a greenhouse that grows your potential or a wasteland that starves it. The mentally strong man audits his surroundings with the same cold precision that a general audits his army before battle. He removes the weak links not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. Because one compromised soldier can cost an entire war, and it goes beyond people. It goes into the information you consume daily, the noise you allow in, the narratives you let shape your perception of reality. The mentally weak man absorbs everything passively, every headline, every opinion, every wave of collective panic, and he wonders why his mind feels like a battlefield. The mentally strong man is a gatekeeper. He decides what enters. He curates his mental diet with the same intensity that a warrior curates his physical training. Because your mind is your most valuable weapon, and a cluttered, polluted mind cannot think clearly, cannot plan precisely, cannot execute with the cold efficiency that power demands. Take control of your environment today, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient. Today, restructure your circle, silence the noise, build the walls that protect your vision, because the man who controls his environment controls his trajectory. And the man who controls his trajectory controls his destiny. That is not motivation. That is iron law. Right now, drop in the comments, I control my environment. My environment does not control me. Say it like you mean it, because from this moment forward, you do. The fifth iron law. See people for what they are, not what you want them to be. This is the law that will save you more pain, more betrayal, and more wasted years than any other law on this list. And it is also the law that most men resist the hardest, because it requires you to do something that goes against every instinct of the hopeful, the loyal, the trusting. It requires you to see people clearly, not harshly, not cynically, clearly. There is a profound and devastating difference between the three. The cynical man sees darkness everywhere and trusts no one. The naive man sees goodness everywhere and trusts everyone. But the Machiavellian man, the truly powerful man, sees reality. He looks at people not through the lens of who he wants them to be, but through the cold, unflinching lens of who they have consistently proven themselves to be. And that single shift in perception changes everything. Machiavelli wrote that men are ungrateful, fickle, deceitful, and greedy. He was not writing this out of bitterness. He was writing it out of ruthless observation. He spent his life studying human nature at its rawest, in the courts of power, in the politics of survival, in the spaces where masks slip and true character is revealed under pressure. And what he found was not that all men are evil, but that all men are driven by self-interest. Always, without exception. And the moment you accept this not as a tragedy, but as a tool, your entire relationship with the world transforms. You stop being surprised by betrayal. You stop being wounded by disappointment. You start reading people like open books, anticipating their moves before they make them, understanding their motivations before they reveal them. Here is what the mentally weak man does. He meets someone and immediately begins projecting. He sees potential where there is only pattern. He sees loyalty where there is only convenience. He sees love where there is only utility. He ignores the red flags because acknowledging them would shatter the comfortable illusion he has built. And so he invests his time, his energy, his trust, his vulnerability into a version of a person that exists only in his own mind. And when reality finally breaks through, as it always does, he calls it betrayal. But it was never betrayal. It was simply the inevitable collision between his illusion and the truth that was always there, waiting patiently to be seen. The powerful man operates differently. He watches before he trusts. He observes patterns, not promises. He listens not just to what people say, but to what they consistently do when no one is watching, when there is nothing to gain, when the pressure is on and the masks begin to slip. He understands that character is not revealed in grand moments. It is revealed in small, quiet, unguarded ones. The way someone treats people who can do nothing for them. The way someone behaves when they believe the consequences are invisible. The way someone speaks about others behind closed doors. These are the truths that matter. These are the data points that a sharp mind collects and analyzes without emotion, without bias, without the desperate need to believe something different. This does not make you cold. This does not make you heartless. It makes you dangerous in the best possible sense of the word. Because a man who sees clearly cannot be manipulated. A man who reads people accurately cannot be blindsided. A man who understands human nature at its core becomes virtually impossible to deceive, to use, or to destroy through the hands of others. He moves through the world with a quiet, unshakable confidence that comes not from arrogance, but from clarity, from knowing, from seeing. So strip away the illusions. Look at the people in your life right now, not through the filter of who you need them to be, but through the unforgiving clarity of who they have shown you they are. Believe the patterns, trust the evidence, and build your inner circle accordingly. Small, strong, and absolutely intentional. Drop in the comments right now. I see clearly. I am never deceived twice. That is not just a phrase. That is a standard. Hold it. The sixth iron law. Pain is your greatest teacher. Stop running from it. Every man who has ever achieved anything worth achieving has one thing in common. Not talent, not privilege, not perfect timing or divine luck. They all walked through fire, and instead of running from it, instead of collapsing under it, instead of spending years in therapy trying to explain it away, they used it, They extracted the lesson with cold precision, rebuilt themselves around it, and emerged from the other side harder, sharper, and more dangerous than anything that tried to break them. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your most honest teacher. And the man who learns to sit with it, to study it, to mine it for every ounce of wisdom it contains, that man becomes something that comfort could never build. Machiavelli lived this truth personally. He was tortured. He was imprisoned. He was stripped of everything he had built, his career, his reputation, his influence, and cast into exile. And what did he do? He wrote, he thought, he refined. He transformed his suffering into some of the most penetrating, enduring, powerful philosophy the world has ever known. The Prince was not written from a place of comfort. It was written from the depths of loss. And that is precisely why it cuts so deep, because it was forged in real pain by a real man who refused to let his suffering be wasted. That is the Machiavellian response to adversity. Not self-pity, not avoidance, not numbing. Extraction, transformation, elevation. Here is what the mentally weak man does with pain. He runs. He distracts himself with noise, with substances, with meaningless entertainment, with the endless scroll of other people's highlight reels designed to make him feel like everyone else is winning while he is drowning. He medicates the symptom and ignores the wound. He tells himself that time heals everything, not realizing that time heals nothing on its own. It is what you do with the time that determines whether you heal or whether you simply learn to limp more quietly. Avoidance does not dissolve pain, it compresses it. It buries it deeper into the architecture of your psychology, where it quietly sabotages every decision, every relationship, every moment of potential greatness. Invisible, unnamed, and devastatingly powerful. The mentally strong man does the opposite. When pain arrives, and it will always arrive for every man without exception, he does not flinch away. He turns toward it. He asks the question that the weak man is too afraid to ask. What is this trying to show me? What is this breaking in me that needed to be broken? What is this stripping away that was never truly mine to keep? Because pain is always pointing at something. A false belief you were holding, a toxic pattern you were repeating, a version of yourself that was too small, too comfortable, too anchored in limitation to survive the life you were actually built for. Pain is the universe's most brutal and most effective form of redirection. And there is something else, something that the dark psychology of power understands with absolute clarity. Suffering, when processed consciously rather than avoided desperately, does not just heal you, it hardens you. It builds a psychological callus around your most vulnerable points. It creates a depth of character that no amount of success, no amount of comfort, no amount of easy living could ever manufacture. The man who has suffered and survived carries something in his eyes that other men can feel without being able to name it. A gravity, a stillness, a quiet ferocity that says, I have already been through the worst, and I am still standing. That energy is not taught. It is earned through fire, through loss, through the willingness to stay present in the darkness long enough to find the lesson hidden at its center. Stop medicating your pain with distraction. Stop apologizing for your scars. Stop treating your suffering as a sign that something went wrong, when in reality, for a man built for greatness, it is often the sign that something is going exactly right. The forge does not apologize for the heat. It simply does what it was designed to do: transform raw, unfinished material into something unbreakable. Your pain is not your story. Your pain is your preparation. The question is not whether you will suffer. The question is whether you will let your suffering make you or destroy you. And that answer, that single defining answer, is entirely, completely, and permanently yours to decide. Drop in the comments right now. My pain is my preparation. I am unbreakable. Write it, own it, because from this moment forward, it is no longer just words. It is identity. The seventh iron law: your reputation is your armor. Build it with intention. In the world of power, perception is not everything. It is the only thing that matters before people ever get close enough to discover the truth. And by the time they get that close, if you have built correctly, the truth will only confirm what the perception already established. This is not deception. This is architecture, the deliberate, calculated, intentional construction of how the world receives you before you ever speak a word, before you ever make a move, before you ever reveal a single card from your hand. Machiavelli understood this with the precision of a surgeon and the vision of a general. He knew that a man's reputation was not a byproduct of his actions. It was a weapon in and of itself. A weapon that, when forged correctly, could open doors, neutralize enemies, create alliances, and generate influence far beyond what raw talent or brute strength alone could ever accomplish. Most men treat their reputation as an afterthought. They behave however they feel in the moment, say whatever comes to mind, react however their emotions dictate, and then express confusion when the world does not receive them the way they believe they deserve. They think reputation is simply what happens naturally as a result of being a good person. And while character is absolutely the foundation, reputation is the structure you build upon that foundation with conscious, deliberate, strategic intent. The weak man leaves his reputation to chance. The powerful man engineers it. He understands that in every room he enters, in every interaction he conducts, in every silence he holds and every word he releases, he is either building or eroding the single most valuable asset he possesses in the social and professional world. Here is the cold reality of how reputation works in the arena of power. People do not respond to who you are. They respond to who they believe you are, and that belief is shaped long before your actions confirm it, through your posture, your consistency, your track record, your associations, your presence, and the stories that circulate about you in rooms you have never entered. This means that reputation management is not vanity. It is strategy of the highest order. Every time you keep your word when it would have been easier to break it, you are building. Every time you maintain your composure when the world expects you to crack, you are building. Every time you deliver excellence in a space where mediocrity would have been accepted, you are building. Brick by brick, action by action, decision by silent, unwitnessed decision, until the structure is so solid, so towering, so undeniably present that it precedes you into every room and remains long after you have left. But understand this with equal clarity. Reputation, once damaged, is not simply repaired. It is rebuilt, slowly, painfully, at enormous cost of time and energy that could have been invested elsewhere. One moment of weakness, one public loss of composure, one betrayal of your own stated values, and cracks appear that your enemies will spend years exploiting. The powerful man guards his reputation not out of ego, not out of vanity, but out of the cold strategic understanding that his reputation is his armor in a world that is always watching. Build it with intention, protect it with ferocity, and never, under any circumstance, sacrifice it for a moment of emotional indulgence that will cost you years of carefully constructed power. Your reputation is not what people say about you. It is what people believe about you when you are not in the room. Make sure that belief is exactly what you designed it to be. The 8th iron law. Never need anyone more than you need yourself. This is the law that will free you more completely than any other insight on this list. And it is also the law that modern culture fights hardest against. Because a man who does not need validation, does not need approval, does not need the emotional rescue of others to feel complete and capable and worthy, is a man who cannot be controlled. And the systems, the people, the relationships, built on manipulation and dependency, absolutely depend on your neediness to maintain their power over you. The moment you sever that need, the moment you become genuinely, deeply, unshakably sufficient within yourself, you become something that very few people in this world ever manage to become. You become free, not just financially, not just professionally, free at the level of the soul, free in the way that makes you dangerous, magnetic, and completely untouchable. Machiavelli was unambiguous on this point. The prince who depends on others for his security, his confidence, his sense of direction, is a prince who is already at the mercy of those others. Dependency is a chain. It does not matter how comfortable the chain feels, how golden it looks, how willingly you accepted it, it is still a chain. And the man who wears it, no matter how powerful he appears on the surface, is fundamentally reactive. He is always one withdrawal of approval away from crisis, one abandonment away from collapse, one betrayal away from losing everything he built, because he built it on the unstable foundation of another person's continued presence and goodwill rather than on the granite bedrock of his own internal strength. The mentally weak man leaks need from every pore. He needs his partner to regulate his emotions. He needs his friends to validate his decisions. He needs the approval of strangers on the internet to feel that his life has value. He needs external circumstances to align perfectly before he can feel at peace internally. And so he is never at peace, because external circumstances never align perfectly. People are inconsistent, approval is temporary, validation is addictive and never fully satisfying, because it comes from outside, and nothing that comes from outside can ever permanently fill a void that exists inside. This is the trap, and millions of men live and die inside it without ever once recognizing the walls. The powerful man is built differently. He has done the solitary, uncomfortable, unglamorous work of becoming his own source, his own anchor, his own counsel, his own validation. This does not mean he does not love deeply, connect genuinely, or value the people in his life. It means that his love comes from abundance rather than desperation. His connections are chosen rather than clung to. His relationships are partnerships between two whole people, not lifelines between two incomplete ones. And that distinction changes the entire dynamic. People feel it. They feel the difference between a man who wants them and a man who needs them. And they respect and are drawn to the man who wants without needing every single time. Build your solitude into a fortress. Learn to enjoy your own company with the same intensity that others seek crowds. Develop your own standards, your own direction, your own unshakable internal compass that functions with perfect clarity regardless of who is watching, who is cheering, or who has walked away. Because the man who needs no one to complete him completes every room he walks into. Drop in the comments, "I am my own anchor. I need no one's approval to be powerful." Mean it, live it, because that statement is not just philosophy. It is the foundation of everything that follows. The ninth iron law. Play the long game. Patience is the ultimate power. In a world addicted to speed, to instant results, to overnight success stories manufactured and packaged for mass consumption, patience has become the rarest and most misunderstood form of power on earth. Every man wants the result. Nobody wants the process. Every man wants the throne. Nobody wants the decades of silent, grinding, unglamorous preparation that the throne actually demands. And so the world is filled with men who sprint furiously for 30 days and then collapse in exhaustion and disappointment, wondering why their greatness has not yet arrived, never once considering that greatness does not operate on the timeline of impatience. It operates on the timeline of mastery. And mastery is measured not in weeks or months, but in years of relentless, unbroken, quietly ferocious commitment to becoming. Machiavelli understood that the most decisive victories in history were never the product of reckless speed. They were the product of calculated patience, of waiting for the precise moment when conditions aligned, when the enemy was vulnerable, when the timing transformed a good move into an unstoppable one. He wrote that fortune favors the bold, but what is rarely quoted alongside that truth is this: fortune also destroys the reckless. The bold man acts with courage at the right moment. The reckless man acts with impulse at any moment. And the difference between those two men is not bravery, it is patience. It is the disciplined ability to hold your power in reserve, to resist the desperate urge to move before the moment is ready, to trust the process even when the process feels unbearably, punishingly slow. Here is what the mentally weak man does. He confuses movement with progress. He mistakes busyness for productivity. He chases every shining opportunity that presents itself because his impatience cannot tolerate the discomfort of staying the course when results are not yet visible. He switches directions every few months, abandons strategies before they have had time to compound, and then constructs elaborate narratives about why it was the strategy that failed, never confronting the uncomfortable truth that it was his patience that failed. Long before the strategy ever had the chance to prove itself, he was already gone, already pivoting, already chasing the next promise of faster results, and so he spends his entire life in motion and arrives nowhere. The mentally strong man plays an entirely different game. He thinks in years while others think in days. He plants seeds while others are searching desperately for fruit that is already ripe. He builds foundations while others are racing to construct walls on ground that has never been prepared. He understands with bone-deep certainty that every day of disciplined, focused, intentional effort is a deposit into a compound interest account that the universe keeps with perfect accuracy. Nothing is lost, nothing is wasted. Every invisible hour of work, every moment of resistance overcome, every day of showing up when every excuse in the world was available. It is all accumulating, quietly, invisibly, unstoppably, until the day it becomes impossible to ignore. Adopt the mindset of the chess grandmaster. Think 10 moves ahead while your opponent is reacting to the move you just made. Let others celebrate the quick wins while you construct the architecture of something permanent. Let them mock the slowness of your progress while you lay the groundwork for a legacy they will spend their entire lives trying to understand. Because the man who plays the long game does not just win the battle in front of him, he wins every battle that follows. He wins by design. He wins by patience. He wins because while everyone else was sprinting toward the finish line, he was the only one who understood that in the game of true power, there is no finish line. There is only the relentless, disciplined, magnificently patient pursuit of becoming. Drop in the comments right now. I play the long game. My patience is my power. Write it, internalize it. Because the men who truly understand this law are the ones history remembers, and the ones the world never saw coming. The grand finale. You are now the most dangerous version of yourself. You have made it to the end, and that alone tells me something about you. Because most men quit. Most men scroll past. Most men consume the first few minutes of something powerful and then retreat back into the comfortable numbness of a life lived below their potential. But you stayed. You listened. You absorbed every single law with the hunger of a man who understands that his time on this earth is finite, that mediocrity is a choice, and that the distance between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming is bridged by nothing other than the relentless, disciplined, fearless application of everything you have just learned. 9 iron laws. Master your emotions. Weaponize your silence. Guard your moves. Control your environment. See people clearly. Embrace your pain. Build your reputation. Need no one more than yourself. And, above all, play the long game with the patience of a man who knows that his victory is not a matter of if, only when. These are not motivational phrases. These are not temporary bursts of inspiration designed to fade by morning. These are the operating principles of the mentally untouchable, the psychologically sovereign, the man who has decided completely, irrevocably, and without apology that he will never again live a single day at the mercy of his weaknesses. Machiavelli did not write for the masses. He wrote for the few, the rare, the ones willing to see truth without flinching and act on it without hesitation. Today, that is you. Drop in the comments one final time. I am the Machiavellian mind. I am untouchable. Let every person who reads that comment feel the weight of a man who has made his decision. If this video cut through the noise and reached something real inside you, hit that like button, subscribe to Machiavellian Mind, and turn on notifications, because what is coming next will go even deeper. The weak have already left, you remained. Now go become what you were always meant to be.